Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode in our video diary series. I'm Henry Higgins III, and it's been a tumultuous week overall. The DDP Yoga, we'll start with that, has gone well for another week, although not as well as I would have liked. I've been a bit under the weather the last few days, feeling really rough today. It's not COVID related, I don't have any of the COVID symptoms. I've just been feeling really run down, got a bit of an achy tummy, and just feeling a bit meh physically. But the exercises were done, that's the main thing. Next week is the last week of the month, so we will be weighing ourselves next Saturday. I'm confident the green sliding down the scale of weight will continue, but we will find out then. Other than that, I will be looking at jazzing up the mixtape again. Did this one for quite a number of weeks now. This is the last week on the spreadsheet that you see at the end of the video before I look at things again, so I will be looking to jazz up the mixtape from the following week. But for now, it's all going well, everything is in place, still seeing so many inspiring stories from various people doing the DDP Yoga around the world, including the older ones like Vance and Arthur that keep popping up, a lot of newer ones, a lot of fantastic inspirational stories. I'm hoping my journey, as slow as it has been, is an inspiration to others as well, to keep on going through the good times and the bad. And wherever you find your motivation, stick to it, and the results eventually do speak for themselves. As it relates to the work and home life, at the moment, from Friday just gone at 6 PM, Wales, the country in the UK that I live in, has gone into a full national lockdown. So across the entire country, only essential services are being provided, such as pharmacies and food stores. Working from home has been put in place if it's possible for you to do so. It is possible for me to do so, meaning for the next 2 weeks I will be working from home. Having learned from the experience of working from home before, I have a different setup. Before, we didn't know how long it was going to be, so I just had a laptop with a mouse, and while it was fine, the screen was quite small, and at work I work with 2 screens, so to have all of that condensed onto one was quite cumbersome at times. Typing with a laptop keyboard without the numbered keypad here as well can be a bit cumbersome also. So for this time I have 2 screens, still with the laptop as a base, but the laptop will essentially just be a screen. I have an external keyboard, a wireless mouse, and I've put it into my bedroom, and I've converted a little section of my bedroom into an office. So that will be a slightly different setup to what I had before. I'm hoping it's a better setup. It appears to be a better setup, so we'll see how that goes. Talking of the lockdown though, one point of contention that I have is that supermarkets have set it up because, and I understand why they're doing this, it's in a show of solidarity with other retailers that aren't allowed to open. So the supermarkets have blocked off certain aisles, stating that the sale of non-essential goods is not permitted during the lockdown. And for the most part, this covers the clothing aisle in certain larger supermarket chains. Specifically for me, it's Asda in Carnarvon, and that in itself is fine. My issue with it is that they have blocked these aisles of non-essential items that are not permitted to be purchased with display stands for advent calendars and Christmas/festive chocolate selections, which are allowed to be purchased. So essentially they're saying that clothing is non-essential during this 2-week lockdown in October, but Christmas chocolate is essential and can be purchased. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. But it is only for 2 weeks. We will get through it pretty simply, I hope. Although the Welsh Government did make an announcement today that they fully expect to do another, as they call it, fire break lockdown. They do expect to do another one in January or February, and believe that these short-term quick burst lockdowns will continue until a vaccine has been administered to the public and the virus itself is under control. That is going to be frustrating, but if they spread them out and it's only 2 weeks at a time, I'm sure we can cope. However, the issue comes from not the lockdown itself or the lockdown themselves, but from people who do not adhere to the rules of the lockdown, thus propagating the spread of the virus, and for people who, when the lockdowns aren't in place but other restrictions are, don't heed them either. So they don't wear masks, they don't social distance, they gather in large groups, and this kind of thing just continues the spread of the virus even worse. And then when things get locked down, they're the first to complain and they only have themselves to blame. I mean, I work with people who believe this virus to be a hoax, and with the amount of death, the amount of coverage, how much of the planet is affected by it, that they genuinely believe that every government in the world has colluded to create this one hoax. It's astounding that people believe that in this day and age. But that's a story for another time. Probably would be interesting to do a video based on conspiracy theories and why some of them are so ridiculous. But that's for another time. Away from all that shenanigans, away from all the doom and gloom, I'm continuing to work through Mafia 3 and enjoying the trip through the game even more. For some reason, and it's possibly because I have played through it a few times now, but the sections and missions and such like, they seem to be going past a lot quicker. They seem to be a lot shorter than I remember, and whether that's simply just because I'm pretty good with the game's mechanics and everything else, and I can just breeze through certain things, maybe that's what it is. However, whatever reason, I'm still loving the game, I'm still loving the setting, the characters, loving the radio stations, the music of the time, and it's a wonderful game. I've waxed lyrical about it on previous videos, and I'm doing so again now. If you haven't played it, if you haven't played any of the Mafia games actually, the remastered trilogy is out there. I would recommend you give them a go. I've personally never played the first Mafia game. I played Mafia 2 and Mafia 3, so I am looking forward to eventually getting Mafia, the first one, the remastered version, the remake. But for now, I'm happy going through Mafia 3. The Halloween movie marathon continues. We have, as of today, Sunday, we have 7 movies left to get through, so I'm looking forward to that. Outside of that, Josh and I watched the first Alien movie yesterday. Over 40 years old, and holds up ridiculously well. I've seen it a number of times. It was Josh's first time seeing it, and I was impressed. He's 13 years old, and at that age you're kind of expected to enjoy the wham bam action stuff, so I'm fully expecting him to love Aliens. But the slower paced, creeping dread, building tension stuff, normally it's something you kind of grow into more as an adult. You start to gain more of appreciation for it, but he was riveted to the screen for the entire runtime of this movie. I was very impressed by him. I was very impressed by the movie itself and its aesthetic, even now, 40 something years later. It was, I believe, the first set in space, set on spaceships, space station type things, to give it a worked industrial aesthetic Normally when you see things in the future, it's very sleek and shiny and polished. This was none of that. It was basically a factory in space, that's what it was. And it worked really well. It was a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, and there's going to be a lot of people out there who haven't seen it, it's essentially a haunted house movie in space. That's probably the best way to describe it. And it's masterful tension throughout. The sequels vary in quality. Generally speaking, when people saying what's your favourite movie of the franchise, Alien and Aliens are kind of neck and neck, and then it's pick and choose from the others. Tonight, Sunday, 25th of October, if you're keeping score, we are going to be watching Aliens. Then Josh isn't here next weekend, so when he's back the weekend after that, we will do Alien 3, possibly Alien Resurrection as well that weekend. Then we will go back and do the 2 prequels, leaving the Alien vs Predator movies till the end. And that will close out the Alien and Predator saga. So that'll be another franchise he will have watched in full. So at that point, it'll be a case of moving on. I think I may jump on to Stallone's movies. We did a few Arnie ones to begin with. So I'm thinking of Demolition Man, Tango and Cash. I think those 2 could be up after the Alien movies are done. Those are fantastic films as well. Cheesy as hell, but absolutely astounding. Demolition Man is one of my favourite movies. Simon Phoenix is one of my favourite characters in that movie. To this day, I still quote him. Thanks to that movie, that I think imprinted me having the number 7 as my favourite number. So much going on in that. It's such a wonderful film. And again, if you haven't seen Demolition Man, or Tango and Cash for that matter, I would recommend you go and watch them. They are great, fun action movies. Speaking of movies, the top 10 movies of the decade continues. Tomorrow, October 26th, episode for 2018 goes up. We only have 2 regular episodes left in the finale, so we have 3 episodes in total to run through. And 2018 was probably the hardest year to pick a winner. It was also probably the best quality year of the countdown so far, like from top to bottom. As I mentioned in a previous video, 2011 was the hardest one to fill 10. From a quality standpoint, there was a little bit of filler in that one. 2016 still has the most messages being sent about Zootopia being number 1. But 2018 was possibly the hardest one to pick a winner from. The top 3, even maybe the top 5, were all in a shout of being the movie of the year for that year. However, the one I've chosen, I do believe was the best movie of 2018, and you'll see why when you watch the video over the next week. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for 2019 and the finale in the subsequent weeks, and also keep your eye out for the November competition featuring Harley Quinn as the prize. 2 figures, which you can see down here and on the inset, along with a poster, framed poster of Harley Quinn from Birds of Prey. They will be up for grabs across the whole month of November. So look out for the quiz video. The competition will be open to anyone worldwide. The question will be up on the video. It's a very easy question. Just get your answers in to us by November the 30th. The draw will be the first weekend of December, with the parcel being shipped out hopefully at some point through the following week. So I'm hoping it will get to the winner by Christmas, but that is November. We still have a week of October left, so thank you very much for choosing to spend some of it with me today. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Keep an eye out, as mentioned, for the competition and the movies of the decade going up tomorrow. Stay safe, wear a mask, look after yourself, and look after each other. Goodbye.